It's Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. Um, Yesterday they had on Channel 7 News and also CBS this thing about Ted Lasso, and then a visit to the White House. I thought that was interesting. Again, I know nothing about Ted Lasso. I don't have Apple TV. I don't have access to Apple TV. I don't know what the cast of the show, I don't know the screenplay of the show. I have no way of accessing it. I have no money. I have no Apple TV. I have no subscription. So I don't know what goes on in a Ted Lasso. I don't even have it as a trendy reference to know what other people are speaking about. But when I watch it and I'm like, now they're in the White House with Biden, that's bizarre. I wonder what that's all about. And then they have something over the door that says believe. And I'm like, now that's curious. Apparently it's a reference from the show, but I have no base knowledge on it. So sitting here in my quiet, I'm just reviewing it on the evening news going, hmm. And I don't even have like a person to reference it with because the other two people in the residence don't watch it either. Again, we don't have access to Apple TV. Um, but I thought the fact that they made it to the White House was really bizarre in some way. Um, so I'm just going to reference what was actually seen with no context, no intellectual construct built, no way of accessing the soap opera or the drama that's going on, um, in this really confusing, like it's existing and someone, I don't know if this is, I don't even have the words for it. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, how does a TV show cast get inside the White House? I mean, it's just, anyhow.
Cast members from the hit show Ted Lasso visited the White House today to deliver a message on mental health. Comedian Jason Sudeikis, who plays the title character, and other castmates met with President Biden and the First Lady to talk about mental health and how it contributes to overall well-being. Mental health and looking after one another are major themes of the show. No matter.
I should mention, I've reported to doctors in the system when the first signs of abuse happened, and then went unaddressed, for I don't know what reason. Again, the only support structure I had, I reported it to. But there was no support of me in anything. So, Lewis, through his network of Western mystics or whatever's going on with him, um, he had a mental health representative. I think she's in charge of the National Association of Mental something or other. This Naomi. I went to go visit them again. I don't subscribe to like what went on in the room, but I'm respectful that other people believe in it. I just am not one of them. Um, so I went to this recommendation. They wanted me to go to the Count of Nassau, so Nassau County, to this cognitive health and behavior, whatever. It was run through the insurance. And there they had an IBM ThinkPad, and I met with somebody, but it was confusing because Lewis sells me the idea of like, I'm going to get you to a mind body doctor. Um, Now I know I need more of a medical detective, but he's like, he says that it's a mind body doc. So I get there and it's behavioral health. So I'm like, right. So that in this context, I mean, like, again, if I break down the word behavior, my expectation at savior and savoir is that it's BEHA, voir, for what do I see? So I get there, but it's more drug and alcohol related, which I'm not a candidate for. So I'm like, so what exactly? And I've done this dance routine in other counties. It's never led to anywhere useful. Um, they usually want to throw some kind of medication at you, and I really am not interested in the medication. I really want to get healthy. I don't really want to, whatever. So I sat there and I said, you know what, let me use my time wisely. She said, I'll do an intake. She said, and then we can set you up on weekly therapy sessions or we can whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I was like, let's do the intake and then I'll think about it. Um, so there at that particular meeting in Nassau County, for which Lewis drove me there, um, I alerted her to put into her IBM ThinkPad on my record about the abuse. Again, I'm doing this. Again, Adelaide Katz had a paper record system. Should be just as efficient. Not that it ever helped me, but now it's in a technology base. So I really don't understand like how that's going to help, but here we are. So I iterated it when it actually happened. Now I'm reiterating it to a professional who has a computer and some kind of whatever job in the system. So I gave the record to her to put into her system. So now it's on the record again as to what I've suffered. Um, and so that happened. So that happened last week, just so the records are within whatever and whatever. But now I'm seeing that they're there talking about this mental health. So I don't know what that's about.
Who you are, no matter where you live, no matter who you voted for, we all probably, I assume, we all know someone who has, or have been that someone ourselves actually, that's struggled, that's felt isolated, that's felt anxious, that has felt alone, right? And it's actually one of the many things that believe it or not, that we all have in common. Well, ahead of Ted Lasso's visit, the president got into the spirit of the inspirational coach by tweeting out a picture of the sign Believe from the show above the door to the Oval Office.
Now, the Grand Marshal for the 2023 New York Veterans Day Parade was announced today, and the United War Veterans Council revealing the CEO of the Wounded Warrior Project, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Mike Lennington, was given this year's special honor. During the initial advance into Iraq 20 years ago, Colonel Lennington commanded a brigade of the 101st Airborne Division.
I'm honored to serve as the Grand Marshal, and for all the veterans that served our country in uniform, past, present, and future.
And as the Grand Marshal, he will lead over 20,000 marches up Fifth Avenue on November 11th. WABC has been the proud home of the Veterans Day Parade for several years.
Yep. Well, so I'm going to go from that. And then, interestingly enough, on CBS, I think they also mentioned it on this broadcast. They mention where the U.S. ranks on happiest place to live. And they, as one of their markers, it's low corruption, along with like social, like, and a whole list, which I'm going to just put on as a balancing and reference utility for this, whatever. So it's E57.
Good morning and welcome back to CBS Morning. Time to bring you the stories that are talk of the table this morning. And eeny, meeny, miny, mo,
Yep.
Vlad's going to go first.
Okay.
I got pole position. My talk on the table is this year's World Happiness Report and its list of the happiest countries. Now, I want to break down what the key factors are that researchers are looking at when it comes to deciding which country ranks high.
healthy life expectancy,
Like that.
average income,
Good.
social support,
Important.
low corruption,
Don't like it.
Well,
and we don't like corruption.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
like having low corruption.
Yeah, we don't like corruption.
Exactly. And this one I love. Communities where people have the freedom to make life decisions and look after each other, and where people look after each other. I want to stress that.
So where do we need to go?
And all right, America is ranked number 1.
That's right.
No, America is not ranked number 1 for the 6th year in a row. Finland. It is the happiest country
I've
in
never
the
been
world. Yes, Finland. And more Nordic countries take up the top spots. Denmark and Iceland in 2nd and 3rd place. If you're wondering, do you want to know where we rank?
I do want to know. Are we in the top 10?
We are not in the top 10, Gail.
Okay.
America came in 15. I know.
We have some work to do.
We have a little bit of work to do. If you look at the countries that are in the top 10, they include Israel. We know Israel very well. I live there.
I question that.
Wait, Tony, Israel's a wonderful.
There is like week 9 of like hundreds of thousands of people fighting for the future of the country. It's a pretty okay, but they seem happy.
They seem happy. They seem happy.
Yeah.
Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Luxembourg. I've lived in Luxembourg. It is a very happy place, a wonderful country to live, and New Zealand.
I want to go there too. All of your Israeli friends are calling you.
I know. There's Israeli friends are. Yes.
It's not.
You're right. There are issues, but
it doesn't strike me. It's a war zone half
They're
the
in the
time.
top 10 though.
Yeah. Okay. Good for them. All right. We cover a lot of important issues on this show, and I'm very proud of that.
So, that's just kind of a synopsis of what is like how to start the day. Again, I also was going back into the record for Harry Potter. I found an interesting similarity. Like, if I had friends somewhere and needed a lesson just for my own edification, somebody who speaks to somebody who iterates things so then they can reiterate to those that need updates. There's this cross-reference between Harry Potter and Gringotts. And then I was reading the word Gringot, and it says gringo, but then there's a German reference of gut. So again, I'm just on the fence of don't know quite how to read that. But the depths of the French and the Spanish because they have this like Latin whatever with this word gringo. It's usually not a very nice word, but here we are. So anyhow, so there's that mention on the front of this building, and then in the current media, there's something going on with this First Republic and the Signature Bank, and then Credit Suisse or some UBC is stepping in. I really know nothing about any of that. And I'm just sitting here at things so far out of my consciousness, but not sure at what level is arbitrage or espionage. Like, is that an acceptable prowess or a possibility? Like, again, I don't want to dismantle the wrong faction per se, but it's getting awfully confusing at the bottom and being left with what feels like absolutely no way out and nothing. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.